Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support my brand, Inspired by Dreams, you can also check me out at inspiredbydreams.shop. And that's dreams with three Z's at the end. Okay, today it's a great Monday. This is a beautiful Monday in the NYC. All my peoples out there showing love to you guys. Everybody that's just enjoying this day, this weather. It's kind of cold outside, but still it feels good. It's up, the spirits are up, and everything's feeling good. I got a lot of things to talk about today. Some things I wanted to bring to you guys. Some things I might not have spoke on because of the weekend. I want to bring to you guys, but most of all, how are you guys doing today, man? I hope you guys are feeling real good, and yeah, just having that loving in your heart, man. I'm not trying to sound crazy for anybody else that don't understand how we bust it up, but I just want all my peoples that tune in, I want to show you guys some healing energy. Much love, all my peeps out there, okay? Now, today I wanted to start it off a little bit different than I usually start it off because different conversations has been spreading around in these YouTube streets that I just wanted to just shed some light on. Number one, the first conversation, I know you guys have been seeing this whole thing going around on Fat Joe and Lord Jamal, and their whole back and forth, I guess gripe you could say is Puerto Ricans, Black Americans, the beginning of the culture, the start of it, and they have a, going back and forth with this whole thing. Before we get into that, if whoever missed it, it was, this conversation was being had on Math, My Expert Opinion podcast. And I tuned in. One other thing before we get into that part of the conversation is one thing Fat Joe had spoke on, and it was storytelling, and he said something, sometimes you have to boost up the story. That is he was kind of going in the right direction, but I just wanted to, just as a just because I'm storytelling, I'm very good in, I'm very, I studied a lot of storytelling. I just wanted to give him a little correction on what he was saying. He was going in the right direction, but you boosting a story, maybe when you boost a story or you're telling us something on a story, he means probably highlighting the areas that's going to be the most, capturing of it. But imagination really has nothing to do with lies at all, at all, at all. Imagination has everything to do with possibilities. Like the chances, the possibilities that this could possibly happen. And that's the reason why imagination, sometimes people think, when they oftentimes think imagination, a lot of people just think magic. But it's not just that. Imagination has a lot to do with possibilities. So I just wanted to correct him on that part. Now, when it goes back to the Lord Jamal and Fat Joe, with this back and forth beef about, this Puerto Rican, I feel like this is not a race card, because I just from my experiences, I grew up with a lot of, Spanish people, especially went to my school. Even my neighbor's neighbor, they're Puerto Rican. Shouts out to Poppy. But I just want to say, in every culture, you're going to have see, the reason why this conversation, like you guys know, we talk about this Black Americans versus Caribbeans. We had these conversations before, but now it's just hitting the light in hip hop. We see that there is some kind of friction between it. But what I could say is, when it comes down to racism, you have to know how to level this thing out. And know that racism can be leveled on different playing fields. And I just wanted to give you like a good example of this. Every culture in their conversations in their house might be kind of racist-ish towards other cultures. It really doesn't have, and it's what you take outside of the house, the things that you believe inside of you, that makes it all what it is. So I wouldn't necessarily say, I just feel like it's going in a place where it doesn't need to be had. Now, both have great points, but I do feel Lord Jamal is he's right. He's more right, I guess, because of just the way see, it's a black culture, and I feel like Spanish people, we are all together because of the way we came up in New York City. But there's other places they'll tell you that, they don't gel as well, Spanish people and black people. So there's gonna be differences everywhere you live, in different places. Places you go, people treat people different. Where we're from in New York City, Spanish people, black people, we're all together. And even in that, we're gonna, of course, yes, you're gonna have Spanish people behind Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Mexicans, behind closed doors amongst their family. Of course, little things will come out racist, but does it mean that you have to point somebody and be, they're racist? No, that's not what it is. That is not what it is. Sometimes it's the conversations that's in the house that you don't supposed to have outside of the house, because it can confuse people on the whole outlook. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to believe in it. If you have family from the past and they came up in the old school, of course they're gonna have these little racist things towards other cultures, because in their time, it was different. As we grow as people, as we move ahead and go and get along with ourselves as human beings, we realize that we have more in common than we have different. So, having a conversation, we have to make sure the conversation that's being had is up to date. That's all I'm saying. And when it comes to hip hop and the hip hop culture, I feel like hip hop is one of the most genres where it's very welcoming, and it's never been a place where it's where people point you out, oh, you're this, you're that, until it gets to this point where people are pointing out the differences. That's why I tell you, the similarities are what brought us all together. I don't feel like just arguing about who started the culture. And yes, a lot of times we hear, the reason why you'll see a lot of people so defensive of it, and yes, us as black people, a lot of things that we did in the past, people have came in, bought into it, took it over. So having that guard on the culture and just the guard of the story of hip hop, I could understand why people will fight for that and jump at that like that. So I just feel like you guys could settle this out, and just everybody has to know, when it comes down to hip hop, it's a melting pot as well. Up to this point, up to date hip hop right now is a melting pot of different cultures, adding their feelings and how they feel about what hip hop is to them. So we still got to keep an open ear and eye to those type of people too. But we can't let their culture be abused by misleading stories. And sometimes stories can get, pushed in different timelines, and it can be confused with other things that's going on. That's all I'm saying with it. So when it comes down to that, I don't really call, culture conversations too much racist. I don't like to do that. I like to, we're gonna, people act like racism doesn't exist. It does. It does exist. And this is also things and ways you have to conduct yourself and know how to get past those people with that small-minded type of thinking. Life is way more. It's more other things in life to be, sitting on something that it's up to us to change that. If we don't want to change that, we still have to find a way to work amongst each other, because it's just plain ridiculous at this point of, our times. In these times, technology is moving along, everything's moving along. We should be moving along with the times too. So we don't want to let everything outpass us and outthink us. We want to catch up with what's going on. So let's keep all these conversations up to date, and let's not go dig in the past to try to bring it into these times, because as we can see, when it comes down to marriages, the way the work experience, just the whole living experience has changed up to this point. So let's just keep the conversations up to date. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, just the latest news on when it comes down to this whole Diddy situation. They're saying that he is boycotting the food and in the prison, because, like we spoke on before, prison food, we're hearing from people, you see people on YouTube and they just give their experiences of their time they spent in prison. And that's one of the things that is mostly talked about as far as the food. It's never, you never hear it's like graded A, it's always something that like the food is disgusting. Sometimes you hear dudes having to make their own types of foods because of just the fact that the food in these prisons or in these detention places, jails, it's not good. So he's up to a boycott, which is just really not too good, because you're playing with your health at this point. So I don't know, being that he has so much money, is a man of status when it comes down to entertainment, maybe he could wiggle his way into some type of ways of, getting that whole food, that whole food system changed up a little bit and maybe get more healthier foods. Because to be honest with you, it's hard as hell to get healthy foods outside of prison. So I could just imagine what's going on in there, you know? So yeah, I'm hearing that Diddy, he's boycott. And I just want to know, you know, also hearing that, you know, he is Diddy behind the walls. He is speaking on people, I'm hearing allegedly, who was involved in certain parties that he might have, that he's thinking that, you know, I don't know if he's seen the tapes, but that he's thinking that, you know, he might have got in trouble for it. He's probably going through his head and thinking about all the celebrities that was a part of this, and he probably wants them to speak up on his behalf or try to help him on his behalf because there was a part of it too. So that's the angle that it looks like allegedly they're taking. And so the people that's at these parties, if you ever been to a Diddy party and was kind of getting crazy, you might have left. Keep a close eye of what's going on, because there's going to be a lot of people watching you because of that particular situation, and we don't know who's innocent and who's not. But yeah, when it comes down to this Diddy thing, it's been a mess, and time is just moving so fast. It's moving so fast. You don't realize that, you know, you move on with your day, you go through different things that you hear over social media, and we just go on with our day working and getting our family together. And then you're not realizing that he's still in that jail cell, and that, you know, and it takes a lot out of you. So, the last thing we spoke about was, you know, just his appearance, you know, in his last time in court. It didn't look, you know, the same, but, you know, it ages you, stress ages you. And these are the things that you really have to take heed of, man. At this point, it's absolutely sad. And it's a shame that he threw away his life just from these selfish thoughts, allegedly, because we have to wait and see how this whole case plays out. But that's the last, you know, I heard a few more things we might get into with that situation. Another thing I wanted to just talk to you, the climate of these streets, man. The crime is going up and up and up at the same time with prices. Like, crime and prices they're like racing head to head nowadays in this world. And Michael B. Jordan, he went through a home invasion, and that's out there in LA once again, like we always hear and say, you know, the home invasions. You know, one of my favorite artists, he said something, and like a little bulb went off, and it's something I've been telling you guys a lot. And it's Wiz Khalifa. I feel like sometimes people overlook his, you know, what he brought to the game. And Wiz had a different outlook he said, you know, a lot of these celebrities, you see them, you know, this was on the Shannon Sharp interview. He said a lot of these celebrities, you know, they have houses here, there, all over the place. Just get one house, you know, build upon that. And that's why I always tell you guys, because you lose the sense of family. You lose, when you're just moving from place to place, you leave things in those places where you stayed at. You know, just find yourself in one place, and a lot of these places in LA, these are places where even if Michael B. Jordan might have moved in there after, you never know if the person that was there before was dealing with these type of situations as far as home invasions. You know, people out there, they look like they have eyes on the prize, in other words. And the people that's making the money and the people that's, you know, in the entertainment business, they know the schedules of them, and they're not always home all the time. And this is when it all boils down to. But I'm hearing that with his home invasion, he was actually there. So these are scary things. We don't want to see, you know, some of our favorites out there and they get hurt because of these situations, man. I was just thinking, another home invasion. Keep your valuables, the things that you know, it shouldn't be any material things where somebody should want to jump through your home for. But it's how you go out there in public. It's how people picture what you have at your house, you know? So like, if you might go out there and you might have been wearing maybe it could have been a $20,000 watch one day. You never wear it no day else, but wherever you went with that, in that place, they have eyes on you. Or maybe just you moving into the area, the people that's putting in your security, they might, you don't know nowadays. Like I always tell you, it could be the guy at the hot dog stand, you know? So you have to be very aware, and it's not, I can't really tell him, what more can I say to a guy that's working his hardest and somebody could come climb through his or break through his home. The best thing I could say to him is move out of that area. It seems like all of that LA, those areas, their home invasions are becoming like, it's just like the smash and grabs. So it's crazy. It's crazy. You might have family in there. This is the reasons why, you know, there's one thing about having nice things, but it's also another thing about putting those things ahead of your life. Your life counts more. If you have to relocate to a place where it's best safe for you, and you might have to spend a little bit more to travel to your work, do that. But don't be in the midst of the drama and having to work so hard and be a be a possibility a victim of a crime. It's not, to me, that's just not worth it. You work too hard for that, and outside of that, the people that's doing these things, come on, man, it's a lot. You know, don't risk your life running in some of these people's homes just to take what they got when you know damn well that this social media, there's cameras everywhere. We are being watched for the longest now. There's not. I tell people all the time, they watch you guys do the crime. They watch you guys do the crime. They might not see it, but they watch it, meaning that it's on camera. So if they have to rewind, they're gonna see what's going on. They have to. It's just like it's a reverse puzzle in these times. Like when they see you doing something, they hear about it, and then they rewind the tape, and then boom, there you go. Good morning. Good morning. Do I have kids? No, I don't have kids, but I do have a niece that I'm selfishly I have a selfish love for her, and I feel like she's my kid though. But when it comes to kids, I don't know. I never really I didn't put kids more than having the right person, staying with the right person. Now, if I'm with the right person where I feel like, you know, the love is gonna be, you know, taken to a point where we can do something long term, yeah, I would love that. Why not? That'd be really dope. Have some little dreamers and dreamettes running around. Yeah, that'd be really dope. But I'm single, no kids. And it's definitely a big stress reliever in these times. Another thing too I wanted to bring to you guys, but y'all, you guys know, you can ask me anything. Kanye West, it seems like he's going through it again too. Like, what's going on with Kanye? They're saying that he's not going to be able to see his kids for the holidays, and just these little things. You know, you if you work so hard, or you know, you made so much money, I feel like there should be no way in hell that you have no chances of going to see your kids, your loved ones. There should be that time they shouldn't even ask you about that. Like, of course I'm going to see my kids on the holidays. Are you crazy? You think I worked this hard not to see my kids at least a smile on the holidays from Christmas? Or so I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just, you know, that could just be allegedly, but I don't know. Maybe it's the friction between him and Kim, maybe that they can't even come to terms where when around the holidays they might not see eye to eye, and it might ruin the holidays as a whole. I don't know. But that's the sad parts about, you know, around the holidays when you don't have that partner where you could gel. But you know, it's try to celebrate your life more daily than having to wait for these certain moments to build up, because that just causes anxiety. And these big expectations people have for this picture of what Christmas is supposed to be doesn't necessarily fit everybody. To be honest with you, I'm not in the most Christmas spirit like how I used to in the past, just because of, you know, it's just my texture at this point. The things that I'm taking in, the things that's meaning more important to me, just doesn't make the holidays seem as joyful, I should say. But I'm happy to be living my life on an everyday basis and just happy to celebrate that. Also, what that just came to my head, happy birthday to Shanika, one of my good friends that I went to school with. Just blessings to the family. What a beautiful family they have. And these are people that have great families, great relationships. And yeah, it's her birthday. So much love to all my peoples out there. I can't forget my peeps. Another thing I wanted to bring to you guys, I wanted to talk about. This is kind of tricky, you guys. Did you guys hear about Lil Wayne, Chris Brown, and I believe there's a few, maybe two other stars that they're accused of like this COVID, you know, scam type of thing. In other words, the money that they had a fund that was going towards the COVID, and the money that went towards that was probably misused in another direction. And that's not necessarily saying that they took the money like, Chris, split this up, Lil Wayne, split this up. But it just means that that budget, wherever that budget disappeared, and it went into something else. And that can get you in big trouble. So I don't know how they're probably gonna be fighting that behind the scenes, but that can put you in prison. like if they put you, if they're looking at it as like fraud, whereas you guys you set up this fund and people bought into it, and then you guys in turn took the money and then partied or whatever you guys they're saying that you did with it. Yeah, that's big problems. I'm talking about you can lose tons and tons of money just doing that. Another person, did you guys hear? Remember, I told you you're gonna hear a lot of things about bankruptcy and suing in these times. I don't know what it is, but this just sounds crazy. Now, if you guys watch sports, you watch boxing. There's a boxer. His name is Tyson Fury. Now, he's been a champion a few times. Grabbing the belt. You know how boxing goes. Sometimes you got the belt. This year, next year, somebody gets you. It's their belt. But he is $35 million he owes taxes in the UK. Now, before we go any further, I do want to say is he does have a up and coming fight. I'm hearing that the payout is something like 85 million, and it's the rematch, I believe, to Dante. One of those. I believe it's a rematch to I believe it's Dante, and I think the it's 85 million he's making. So let's just hopefully he gets that fight. But owing the government $35 million in the UK, and I thought in the UK they took out the taxes on every little thing, but I guess their tax system, it's not identical with ours, but they have a whole different way of going about taxes. But 35 million just goes to show you that, don't think that just because you're making a certain amount of money that it can't accumulate to you. Just doing these little mishaps, not paying attention to what's going on, could put you back in the hole. But hopefully he gets the next fight, and I'm hearing it's like an $85 million purse that is split up. I believe boxers, they have to pay a certain amount of people, but hopefully that can pay off, because 35 million, just 1 million is bad, especially out here in America. 1 million, and you're in the hole. You're trying to climb out of something that is going to be, I'm telling you. Because as you're trying to climb, you're still paying and holding on to the things that you have, and it's a total mess. And just talking about that, I heard something, this is just allegedly, I heard this, and I said, this cannot be true. Dame Dash, I'm hearing that he's being sued again. Like, I don't know, but he's being sued again from this lady that I believe that he in the past had worked with, and she's coming up with another lawsuit. These are the times where it is more than spooky. I can't say who's right or who's wrong. It's just something that came across, and I'm just like, like, where does this stuff, like, and it's not to say who's right or wrong, but I'm just saying, in these times, just try doing good. The best business is going to be less of a headache, especially if you want to do business. The less business is going to be less of a headache. Trust when I tell you, man, people are crazy. I don't know. And he's already dealing with his situation that we already know, we hear about all the time. And then here this comes with another situation that he owes. So it can get really messy, man. I tell you, watch these people. You have to be very aware of the people you tune into. And I never point the finger at anybody. But the people that I tune into, I always give them a shout out like, oh, I watched this here, there. I came across one. Okay, so I came across Adam22’s. He was doing a interview with Whack 100. Shouts out to Whack 100. Seems like a solid dude. But Adam22’s conversation started with that, he doesn't believe in God. And I'm not knocking anybody. Whack 100 was even a little surprised. He was like, so what do you, he was trying to break down, how do you see this whole thing? But what I got out of that is you have to be very careful of the people that you're watching, their ideologies, the way they look at things, their outlooks on life might not be suitable for me. I believe in God. I'm a Christian, and I also respect, like the Muslim religion, all different religions. I respect everybody as a whole, Catholic, everybody as a whole, because I feel like in everybody's religion has their truths and has that same sense of who the Most High is. But when it came down to him, just the way he spoke on it, like, God. I don't believe in God, this and that. I don't believe in this, you know. And it just all it like I guess the conversation, you know, they took it to like in a jokey joke way, like, you know, Adam and Eve and, you know, like Noah's Ark and things like that. But what I got out of that, and I really have to, it's you always gotta be aware of the person and the information and where you're getting this information from. A lot of these people, like I told you in time in the past, they don't believe in God. They don't believe, you know, some of them would say, oh, there's a higher power, but the reality of it is when you don't believe that there's somebody there's a most high or something greater than yourself, you start to take that within yourself and it leads you into a way of a blurry, a blurry outlook of what life is and what it means to everybody as a whole and not as an individual. And just saying that, and just, you know, and there's so many people there's people I've heard in the past where, you know, but it was just the way he said it, like, I don't believe in God, like that's just the thing, like, you know. And I'm just like, I could see from everything. Now I rewind back on the whole, you know, doing the porn thing and, you know, having people sleep with the people that you claim to love. I can see why some people, their outlooks on things might be different. And I don't knock anybody for what they do, but it just goes to show that, and I'm not, big platform, I heard he makes big dollars, you know, big content creator, dope podcast, you know, people are always jumping on there, just not suitable for myself, you know, but, and the things that I believe in, but it just goes to show you just have to be very careful of the content creators because sometimes the things that they believe in, it might not necessarily, you know, align with the things that, and we don't, you know, the only thing that keeps us in line is our faith and our hopes and dreams. So I can never knock somebody else what they feel is correct because I'm not God. I can only go off of what I believe in and what I stay true to my faith. But at the end of the day, I would never put that out to the people because it's very detrimental in these times that a lot of these kids in these households, they're not really coming up with religion like a lot of us. You know, they're not really being, and it's just because the whole structure of how society is right now. You know, you don't see everybody on Sunday running the church and bringing their family with them. So in these times, a lot more things are happening where a younger kid or a youth could find themselves, you know, drawn away from religion and religion might feel like a something that can be, you know, going against what they're doing if they're not presented with it in the right way. And just like storytelling, you know, you have it's life is the biggest story that we all live, and we're all in this thing together. So when you hear people going outside of that and going outside of the things that we as human beings make us come together, take a open eye to that. You know love starts no matter what. We all share the same things, and like we have these conversations about, you know, somebody else's background. That's how they, you know, just because somebody grew up a certain way doesn't mean that that's how they end up. You understand? Just because you've been loved a certain way as a youth doesn't mean that that's how you're going to go on in your life and love somebody else. You know, you learn from loving too, and you learn from how people didn't love you or whatever your experiences was, and that's what makes you who you are. Your understanding of that is what's going to make you who you are. So, you know, I'm not really all the way into, you know, what Adam is doing, but I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying that right there, just kind of I remember I'm like, what? And time and time again, you'll see a lot of, but you know, if you don't, even if you are not the most religious person, there's certain things that in the Bible, as well as in other religions, that gives your kids a structure, a kind of a foundation to stand on, even if you don't have it to give them to stand on. They can still count on this faith, and that takes people a long way. You'll be surprised how many kids that was raised up on religion that went so far in life just because they took extra risk because of it. Don't think that the Bible is what people tell you. Take a look at it for yourself, and you'll realize, wait, this is one of the biggest stories of life. This is one of the best books of all time. And the things in here, it shapes us up to this point. This is definitely, it's rich. It has such a rich sense of hope in it that we all can use these certain situations in our life. So don't ever, just go out there and say, I don't do this, I don't do that. That's not necessarily the best way to put anything out there. Because the youth looking up and say, well, he made it to that point without doing this and that, it's not that that didn't necessarily sit too good with me. But hey, everybody has their own way of thinking, and we are living in a big world, and it's not just my world, it's everybody else's as well. So yeah, I was also watching. I don't know if you guys got a chance to catch what it's called. I believe the podcast is called What's Cooking Good Looking, and it's from the battle. One of the top battle rappers. His name is Conceited, with also this other. I don't want to mess her name up, but he has a host with him. And I believe she's a big comedian, and she did a lot. She's a content creator as well. And they had a guest. Remy Ma was their guest, and it was so dope. I love Rem. I know what's going on. I'm hearing more and more. I hear more things, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to relationships, when it comes down to marriage, it's a choice. It's something that when you put other people involved, when you get other people involved in it, it gets sticky, and then it becomes too messy. But from from that show, it was a lot of good thing. I started to realize too, for people that didn't know, is that true that from Remy's Conceited song, he Conceited got his name? That was kind of dope. And she was it was a really good show. I felt like that was a really good show. But another thing I just wanted to speak on, I hear people talking about, Remy has said how, Pat put his hands on her. And on that note, just because I don't want to get anybody's business, but I'm not saying if it is or if it isn't, but I just feel like the only reason why that won't sit well with people, that. You know better. Rem, you know that. You know that. Bayesian to Bayesian, you know that people, it's how you present yourself is how people gonna make. That's never, somebody putting their hands on Remy. We can't see that. We can't see that. We can't see that without, because we see your texture and we see how you are, and we know that's I don't know. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I just don't see Remy as that vulnerable type of female where you're not just gonna put your hands on Rem like that and it's gonna be just like that. So that's what kind of rubbed people the wrong way. I just feel like that whole thing is just a messy argument going back and forth, and then the public is listening in on. And some of the stuff the public is taking out are just the messy parts in the arguments, and that's not really the parts that really is going to necessarily make things work or even come together to make things just go on. So that's all I have to say on that. I don't want to jump too much in that. That's just crazy, man. It's just too much, man. It's crazy. I'm hearing Young Chop. He was released from jail. So I'm hoping that Young Chop, because Young Chop is one of the talented ones. If for those who don't know, Young Chop is one of the ones that brought in the drill music with Chief Keef and the whole Chicago wave of bringing that in. One of the producers. So he's in control of the sound of what we deem today to be music that had took the genre to a different place. So him coming out, I hope he just takes that energy and goes right back into the things he loves doing, because I feel like with Young Chop, I remember a few in the past with him just wilding out, and it was all due, to be honest with you, it was all due to like pills and the abuse of drugs and stuff like that. That's what I seen out of it, and I felt like, man, just a heavy set guy at that. Don't play with those drugs like that. Even though your friends and them could probably be doing that, for you're like, it's almost like the wizard, man. You're in there with the production. You're in a different realm of what you have to make the sound. You cannot be the one off of these pills and all this pills and all this. Okay, yeah, I don't know. My screen just blanked on me, y'all. But all this pill usage and stuff, it's taking the youth and it's taking older folks too. It's just the numbing of the pain that they're going through. It's so many different routes you can go through without doing that. So I'm just happy he's home, and hopefully he doesn't put himself back. I also seen Lil Reese was home. I seen him on an interview. I believe it was Cam Capone interview he came back to. And I'm hoping that just these people, they realize and see that, wait, hold on, my opportunity, I still have chance. I don't want to blow it and just dive right in full force, because, man, the street life right now, it ain't even worth it. Everything is being watched, rewinded, and putting people in prison. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm seeing these little, like on the news, you see like people getting stabbed in the street, in the train stations and things like that. Now they took the homeless. I believe they're taking all the homeless out of the train stations. It's a lot going on in New York, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot going on where you are from too. But in New York, it's a lot going on. Even the head of one of the heads of police, he's getting he's in I'm hearing he's in a little trouble for doing, paying. I guess it's the same, misuses of power. Having one of the other officers, overpaying them, and they just to get, whatever he's got going. I don't know, allegedly. And it's almost like the same lineage of what Diddy was doing, just the overpowering of, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Look, man, I don't feel my personal take on it from the type of boss I feel, or the type of person, a CEO, or the person a leader, how people always say, a leader doesn't necessarily have to be the richest one. It's not about the money attached to what to make the leader is. What a leader could be, a person that just takes, instead of everybody just taking the upper hand, or just taking control of a situation and putting themselves in a place where if anything goes wrong, they're liable of it, and everybody else is going to watch and witness what's going on so it won't happen to them. A leader sometimes doesn't always get the best fit at the end. So I see a lot of people like, I'm a leader because they feel like they reached to a point where they feel like they're above something else. That's not necessarily made you a leader. There's a lot of leaders that's living in amongst us that people don't even recognize on the daily basis. We have basketball coaches, football coaches, baseball coaches, school teachers, and these are leaders that's natural born leaders. These are people that they have that leader spirit in them, and whatever they do, they implement that in their jobs, and those are the leaders of today. Don't necessarily think the leaders that are going to be the one on stage screaming the loudest on the mic. That does not necessarily make a person a leader. Yeah, they can probably gather the crowd, but it's what they say in their messaging is what makes them the leader, and what, we can deem them to with that type of leadership. So don't let people, just misuse the word, and you feel like everybody, leadership takes a lot. It takes a lot. Sometimes it takes for you taking that punch and just to let that person get through the door. That's a leader, and we need more of that. We need more of that in these times. We need more of that in hip hop. And I just feel like where hip hop is at right now, we're in a place where it's kind of like iffy. Nobody knows, if I stand on this square, is it gonna sink? If I drop this, is how people are gonna take it? That is not what made hip hop what it is. What made hip hop what it is just you being you. Look at the people. Even though, and I'm not, and I heard this conversation going around too, and I could also say that in the beginning of hip hop, there was also the unity brought more, I would say, more spice to the recipe. It felt like an ongoing, growing process until it got to a point where people started doing the same thing. But it always felt like, okay, so like New York, and then it started birthing in other places. The reason why is because other people that related to the stories out here, just telling it in their different ways, made us look and say, you know what, yeah, they do go through it their way. And being that they didn't interrupt what people were doing by trying to do the same thing, but did it their way, that made it more, even that much more eligible to say that it can stand around what has been built already. So when we see people now, and the process right now is it's on a duplication process, meaning whatever worked in front of them is what they'll do next, and that is not what led hip hop to how we got it this far. It's like, okay, that worked. I'm gonna try something new myself, and I'm gonna try something and see if this works. Not just being that process working, because what happens is you have everybody running to this door of this sound and this certain BPM, and that place becomes flooded, and then all these other doors that's open are left open, and there's 1 or 2, 3, 4 artists in each one of those doors, but it's just so very hard to find because this is where the loudest thing is going on at. So we find balance in the things that we have similar, and that we can carve out as our own with the things that we're doing, if that brings some kind of understanding in it. And that's the reason why I think that, it was that much easier for the females to rise to the top, because even though they brought more, it's so many different things that they brought, different sounding voices, different stories, different it's just their different sexual energy. Males can't really bring that type of energy, so that was one of the main ingredients that they brought. They have the seductional part of their style. So and every female artist, they can have a higher level of seduction in their artistry, and it can take them a little further than it would have with a male. With a male, it has to be a little more carved out to be in that, I would say, I wouldn't say seduction, but more respectable or respected. So it's like the males have that respected level will be a little higher. As far as the females, the respect level doesn't have to be as high as the male. It just has that seduction has to be attached to it. So everybody has their balance in the game. And I feel that's the reason why the females took off, because we heard so many duplications of the respect. I respect this, I respect that, that when the females came with it, it was so open to it. It was such a new thing to say, either F you or what's up with you, Both of those conversations weren't really being heard by so many females, and that's what make the break-in, and everybody start coming in now, and the females start coming back with their stories. Like you had your story of coming in the club now, in the strip club, and you was throwing money in the air. Now the female got her story, is her catching the money and going back with it and having to deal with the things in the house. Everybody has their own story to tell. It's how you carve it out for the people, and how they digest it to believe in you. And that's what makes the best storytellers. It makes the best artists, the best writers, the best movie makers. No way in the world would tell you anything different than what your boy is telling you. No way in the world. So don't ever think that imagination has to be flooded with lies or things like that, because lies are not necessarily what the human experience is built off of. Those lies are part of the fear, your fears inside, the things that you're scared of hiding. Those are things that come with that. Imagination has to do with possibilities. What if I jump off? I don't have a parachute, but what if I jump off? I have a big coat. Can I hold it like this? And could a parachute come out of it? Let me take a try. Whoop, I hurt myself. Okay, so I can't do that. Why? Break it down. Okay, because the wind, and I have to, okay, so let me make a bigger, and then we have, oh my goodness, let's call this a parachute. So it's what you don't fear is going to push us ahead as a human. It's going to get us ahead, not what these people are telling you. You see, when they give you the AI and things like that, because they think you're stupid. They think you don't want to do nothing. They feel like, they know the curriculums in the school wasn't teaching you nothing, not enough for you to change the world or do something like how people want you to do. So they look at you like, oh, they need help. You don't really need help. You don't need help. The only thing that's different with you guys and the difference with us, y'all get it like this, faster. Y'all get to the same point, but y'all just get it there faster. And when you get it there faster, you have to realize, you have to know what it is. The faster you get it, it's easier for you to lose information. So you have to know how to take in the information. So your memories of what's going on in these times have to be way bigger. So don't let people fool you. The times change, but it really, as the world and as God made it, it all stays the same. So you can add technology to it and make things easier to learn, but just make sure that you're learning it. Don't let your chat GPTs and these AI things just take all your brain away from you. When you take that away, your brain is empty up here. No, use that as a learning tool to put things up here. So now you know what to put up there. Let this be the cabinet, not that. Don't keep that as your storage unit of the things that you value most. Keep that inside of you. Those are just getting you to the points where you might have took a longer time to figure out. Okay, but you know what you was trying to figure out, right? That's how you have to know. You can't lose your smarts to technology, because then after a while, technology can take over the human experience. It can. Don't be scared of it. You have to take control of the things that you do and realize you only need AI and all these things for only certain parts of your life, not really everything. If you rely on these things, trust me, the more you rely on all these things that God hasn't made for you to get ahead, is the more that somebody pull that away from you now, and now you're blinded from the things that you can really actually do. That AI stuff is gonna knock out people's senses. People's just the way they think. It's gonna switch it around because it's just like how we look at Google and it's really supposed to just look for search and you say Google this. It's the same thing. So you don't want to let that take over everything you do. Come on. So when they already know that the kids, when they go in those schools, they're not even giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're coming out with anything. They already got something in place that if y'all fail, y'all stand here and y'all can still go through this route because they're not believing in it. They don't trust in that curriculum anyway because what does the stats show? The stats shows that the highest earners didn't need those type of possibilities to get where they were at. All they needed was risk and investments, money, capital, and the right information to go to the right places, right? So you have to realize that there's benefits you can use from these particular places, but you just got to know to store the right stuff. You know, we're not going to store the algebra anymore. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go all deep rooted in math just to get you to a point. No, but we are going to store the things that's the simple things that could get you there to these points fast, to get your brain working on that exercise instead of chat GPT and you having to pay, what is it, $200 and something a month for something that you can already build up in yourself, and you can be that chat GP strong in your brain. So don't let these things take over what you got to do. All right. Always remember that. Let me see something else I wanted to bring to you guys also too. Sometimes I get lost in trying to help my people out because people don't always think the easy way. Sometimes the easy way got the biggest traps. Trust when I tell you, the easy way always got the biggest traps. Just buy into this, buy that, and the next thing you don't know where your money went and you don't know where the thing you bought went. So don't, okay. There's a Minnesota rapper, he's facing federal charges as well. He did some hacking. See, this is the thing that I'm trying to tell you guys. They already know, like, when you hear hacking, like you hear a celebrity like their page got hacked. That's not really hacking. That's like, when you hacking is you don't just hack somebody to say I hacked you. You hack somebody to hold something over their head or let them know something you didn't want people to be aware of. They are aware of it. There's always some deep rooted inside of that hack. It's not just, hack because just to throw out a couple tweets. No, there's always something else that goes into that. And people are getting in trouble for that, man. People are really, and it's big time. It's not even no little time, it's big time. I'm hearing also, honey, there's so many people going in and out of prison. One rapper come out of prison, 5 rappers go into prison. It's like, what is going on? Honey Brazy's prison sentence, it's what, 13.5 years? Look, you guys, that time ain't worth it. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. You're wasting a lot of your time. I'm telling you, man, it's almost like a toss-up in these times. We don't know what's next to come. I told you there's possibilities that those are going to be the new lab rats. If the world went crazy and things, you don't think they will be using prisoners for lab rats? Maybe these just are the thoughts that I think in my head. But maybe sometimes when you really think it out, think about it. Man. Wow. And that Dame Dash thing, it was $100,000 judgment. I just don't, I'm not into, just talking about just the numbers on it, it just upset me. But people got to really get their self together as far as like, and just also think of it like this. You can, look, like I told you, media is losing a lot of money. It might look like it's gaining, but trust me, in the behind the scenes, it's losing a lot of money. A lot of owners are skipping out on it because you're losing money. It's like a toss-up, almost like streaming. So you got to be very careful. And in these times, just having your hands on everything doesn't necessarily mean it's the good thing. I'm into investments, investing in things, and having full ownership on things. I find that to be sometimes tricky because of, in these times, you're taking on all of these responsibilities. And not only is the money just leveling out, but at the end of the day, you have to have hands, you have to have the strength, the mind power to go out there and collect from each one of these things and still give it your 100% to each one of these businesses. That's why I always I tell you guys, choose investing in things because that's going to be better off for you. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But ain't that life? So you know how to play that game already, right? So I think that would be best instead of, I'll own this, I'll own that. Trust me, when you own it, it takes responsibility. People start suing your company. You'll be surprised how many small companies get sued just like big companies. It's not like that. So you got to be very careful. You got to be very careful. Especially if you're dealing with like food and things like that. People will swear they got poison when they didn't even get poison. And they will have you in court fighting for something that, you know, so it's the things behind the scenes people don't tell you that comes with business that can be just as strenuous and stressful as going to these 9-to-5 jobs like I once did as myself, you know? So be mindful of that. There's ways to weigh it out. Oh, Diddy's gonna have to sit here. Yeah, I feel so too. Diddy's gonna be there for a while, y'all. I feel like this case right here, and it's crazy how I feel like from now all the way to May, not only he's not gonna be the same person, but I feel like he's gonna be the sober Diddy. And just to look back on this, you could crash. All this pain you dished out to people. And I'm not saying, I don't believe the 300 and somebody people that, because there's one thing of having sex with somebody, and it's another time of doing something to everybody. Like in other words, that's saying that everybody he came in encounter with and had sex with, that he did something wild and wicked to. I don't believe all of that. I really don't believe that. Because then you're taking on a lifestyle where there's possibilities. You could kill some of these females on 300, you try and tell me you didn't kill not one of them. So that don't sound right. But I do believe that just his lifestyle and what he picked up with the pink stuff and the abusive, the overpowering, yeah, I feel like, yeah, he damaged a lot of people. And yeah, I don't know, I can't put a number on that. I'm no judge, but I know that some of that stuff is true. And because of some of that and the character we have seen in front of us, yeah, there's probably a possibility he's going to do some time for that. But I mean, I don't know about the 300. It just sounds absolutely crazy. I mean, sex is one thing, but being, you know, crazy, that type of stuff, and all them people, I don't know. I'm hearing they bringing J-Lo in too. Did y'all hear that? J-Lo, she's in the possibility. She's part of it because, you know, the same story that girl had told, you know, with the girl being laid out, and you know, like how they had her like a kind of like a decoration. She was laid out and they had the pineapples and you go pick the food off of her. They didn't know the girl was 13 years old or somebody like that. So, you know, it's disgusting. And that party, I guess, I don't know, man. This whole time, I understand why Ben probably didn't want to deal with J-Lo for a second, because me personally, if it's my lady and I'm hearing this after, you know, the one thing that people always ask, they always ask of people in relationships is for your honesty. Now, I'm not telling you to spill out all your whole life to me and tell me, you know, what I'm not supposed to know, or how many, that day you had the threesome or whatever you had going on. You don't have to tell me all of that. But just at least give me a heads up on the people that I'm going to be having to work in the same environment while I'm around you. Because I'm always going to stand there for you. If they see you, they should see me. If they see me, they should see you. So if I'm in a place where somebody has something over me and they know something about you, it make me feel some kind of way as a man. I'm just telling you, it might not be right to the females, but that's just how we give it up. We have feelings too. I'm not gonna want my lady to ever be in a place where I slept with a few girls in there and she's standing there and she don't even know, and them girls is giving her eyes. Don't you know females do a whole bunch of tricky stuff that we don't even understand? They can give that girl 2 eyes and she like, you know, she slept with my man. So you gotta be very careful of that type of stuff. I would never want, the level of disrespect is not always the disrespect in your face. Sometimes it's the disrespect behind your back that hurts you the most. So, you know, J-Lo, you know, if I can understand why Ben might have gave you a little, you know, time out, and it's no disrespect towards you. It's just because he might not want that in his energy, sweetheart. We know you big J-Lo, but that's Big Ben too. He might not want that type of energy. He got family around. He don't deal with that type of stuff. He don't deal with these type of parties and these things he heard about. A lot of us don't deal with that stuff. You know, I walk into a party and they sleeping with kids in there. I'll probably throw up. That's disgusting. So some of us don't deal with that type of stuff. And when you can hold that type of stuff in and just go on to your next day, he might feel a little awkward around you, you know. We're at all the stages in our life, and the person that we want standing behind us, we want to at least trust them with our secrets, with everything. So, you know, I can understand why he wanted, and ladies, don't get mad at that man for, you know, just having that, because look what's going on now. She knew a little bit more than we knew. You can't blame us. J-Lo, they saying that you know, so I don't know. It's true. It feels that way. It feels like a lot of celebs. That's one thing I would say to all the celebrities out there. If you see, and I know, you know, it comes with money. Don't think that, you know, I've seen from Lady Gaga tell fetish stories about people in bars where when the bar, everybody was naked in there, and then you had to stand on them, you know, at the bar. I've seen and heard a lot of this stuff, but you have to be truthful in yourself. You have to know how to separate what's legal from illegal. Underage, abuse, anything like criminal around sex is it's either you look, if at the least, get the hell out of there. At the least. If you want to be the neighbor that want to mind your business, at the least, get out of there. Don't be, and this is just allegedly, don't be the celebrities that's peeking over and then taking a different out of it, because that kind of makes you involved. Like, you seen that. You seen Shorty screaming, like, and then you just, so you want to be able to hold that over my head. Like, you was at the Diddy party. I'm like, okay, I didn't do anything, because I know, what are you talking about? I didn't see anything. Like, if I seen something, I'd have walked out of the place. It's true. It's true. You'd be surprised. There's people out there, they worship those celebrities. Be honest with you. I've seen it. I've seen it. And it's not, they don't even realize how they got to that point of worshiping the celebrity. You see, what happens is they don't have the religion coming from their household. So they see, when they get to a point, social media, they give them this picture of this celebrity. Everybody's cheering and going for the celebrity. The celebrity's on the stage on the high stage, and they're looking up to the celebrity. Every time they see the celebrity, they see money, and they see everybody cheering it. And what does that look like? That looks like worshiping, right? They don't have religion. I can't knock them. They haven't been brought up in religion. So now when they see a figure out there, they love the person so much. That same love that they missed out, they were supposed to have that love in God, and that God will reflect in themselves. So when they look at the celebrity now, they could probably find or niche something out of that celebrity that they can see in themselves. But yet they only see the celebrity for that. So they start worshiping the celebrity now. Now the celebrity probably got a whole bunch of millions of people following them. They're looking at the numbers. They're like, oh my God. And now in their head, they feel like that is a person of status, because meanwhile, that celebrity don't probably even believe in God. Now that little kid is running where they want to get behind stage to get a little autograph. They trying to get behind stage. You try to pay all the money. You go around the side. Now the kid is around there. And by the time you peek and you look in the backstage, they over there sniffing up a whole table of that stuff. And now you got to close the kid eyes and run the other way. You're embarrassed. They didn't see that part. They didn't see that part. They didn't see the stress that celebrity couldn't look in the mirror before they got on stage, how they didn't want to go on stage or in front of them people, because their eyes was red and they had tons of people in the back taking from their money, lawyers. Their relationship wasn't working out. They nose full of that powder. They go out there now, and now everybody like this. They don't know what's going on. It ain't nobody's fault. It ain't nobody's fault. It's up to you as an individual, and the people and the things that you come around. You got to know the difference, man. When you come up on religion, I'm not pointing the finger at what religion you come up on. Come up with something knowing that there's somebody higher and greater than you. And you'll see how life looks in that lens than looking at life as, oh, now I'm just going to try to get whatever out of this, and this is how it's supposed to be. The biggest celebrity, the biggest this is the greatest. That ain't the truth. That ain't the truth. Even in boxing, they'll tell you the greatest fight of all time is Muhammad Ali. He lost fights. He lost fights before. Just because you don't lose fights doesn't make you the greatest. What fights you got into? How did those fights look? How did the people take it? When they sat there, when they watch Ali go down on the floor on his knee and get back up and fight all the way to the end, that's what makes you the greatest. Not just because the bell ring and they lift your hand in the air. That don't make you great. Anybody could do that. We done seen street fights with a lucky guy get a quick punch and drop the guy. That don't make that he's stronger than the guy that's on the floor. See, greatness doesn't stem from what people... Greatness, it comes from inside of you. You gotta already know you great. When you're standing up there, you have something to offer to millions of people that's trying to get to that place where you standing. These people ain't great. Some of these people are just good. That's okay. But being great comes with a responsibility that I just can't see in them. The mistakes they are making, only good people make those mistakes. Great people don't make them mistakes. They learned those mistakes already, and they're ready to show their greatness off to the people that's ready to take it and be great with them. That's the difference. And you know, I can't, and it's another thing I wanted to tell you now we're here. I can't sit in the conversation of black people arguing with black people. That conversation is so small and ignorant. In these years, right now that we're living, you mean to tell me that we can't understand the differences between our cultures and come together? So why are you asking for reparations and all of this stuff if we can't come together? You know how stupid that looks? Yes, we have Caribbeans. Yes, there's black Americans. Yeah, but at the end of the day, baby, the skin is the same. That's the difference. See, people out here they're ready to argue and fight with each other. That's why I told you, everybody on social media trying to go for everybody's differences. So what? Why the only time we come together is when we poking something in our mouth, somebody else's culture or food. I love me some pizza. And it's so, you know, I don't understand how people could get this understanding of just fighting for the wrong stuff. Meanwhile, these same people fighting back and forth, they love some jerk chicken. Love some French fries, some Italian food. All these things, don't you realize those are other people's culture that they added into this melting pot to make us say, nah, this is good. What about the relationship we have amongst each other? Why can't that be good too? Why can't it be good? Because somebody's so-and-so mother talk about you when you came to pick up their daughter. They supposed to talk about you. They don't know you. You're just coming into their culture. You think they ain't gonna talk about you? They in there cooking their family food. You coming knocking on the door and you trying to see his daughter, right? So you have to have some respect. And if you wanna take somebody from their culture and add in your culture, you have to have respect for their culture. That's how we get up. That's how we mix up. What's wrong with that? Of course, people, we all human. We all yibbity yap about everybody. We yibbity yap about everybody. It don't make you a racist, man. It don't make you a racist. It's how you conduct yourself with other people while you're socializing, while you're out there, what you feel in your heart. That's what make you who you are, man. Forget about the racist. That stuff. That conversation has been had years and years ago. We passed that. We're not up to that level of that. We're past that level. We came together, and some of us, the only reason why they're stuck in it is because something else is hurting them. And that's the only thing they can attach to, that they can fight for. A lot of people ain't got nothing to fight for because they don't know their history. They don't know their history. Some people's history says a lot of death and destruction, and they're scared to tell their kids that. But others, people's history might say slavery, struggles, and people want to adapt to that because they feel like that's the best story to come from struggle and go. But it's something you have to really have been going through that. Your ancestors have to really go through that to understand it. Don't let these stupid guys that didn't even graduate school tell you about some black history. Are you serious? It's not what they teach you in school. It's a discipline that it took to stay in school for you to understand outside of what's going on outside of school. You couldn't be selling drugs and teaching black history at the same time. Which one was it? Which one was it? I don't get it. Stop with the hypocritical stuff, and if you're going to be true to what you're saying, stand on it. I mean, you got a guy trying to tell you something about black history, and meanwhile he's selling drugs with the other hand. It's hypocritical and nonsense. Get off of that nonsense. We're trying to celebrate the holidays, and we're trying to come in with a truthful spirit. Don't let these people fool you with that nonsense. They'll tell you anything just for you to throw a piece of change in their pocket. And anybody would go out there and believe it. No. There's more of us that come together. I'm telling you, you can, out of any culture, if you want to argue black versus Spanish, those are two cultures right there. You could put any amongst those people in any other place and people would get along with us. Are you kidding me? We never was the one to push people out. We was always the people to bring them in. Just making sure when they come in, they have a great understanding of who we are. And that's respect. That's respect. That's why I always love the South, because the South brought a lot into the game, and it's way before hip hop. I'm talking about since R&B. The South been holding up the music business with love since the beginning. Don't hate on them because they just taking on to our traits now with all this violence going on. Yeah, they doing that now, but before it wasn't all about that. And we used to always look over like, yeah, I like that. But now we picking up on the stuff out here that just separates people. I'm not with all of that. I'm not with it, and I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. We already know they're giving gangs tons of years. I'm hearing Casanova 2 times, and I commend him. I'm sorry. I'm not here to tell you about the gang life. I'm not here to tell you, my whole thing is what I never understood. If the man wants to take out of the gang and he wants to join Muslim and he sees like a different life for himself, why the people that was a part of that gang is mad at him? Like, why? Ask yourself that. Like, if I wake up one day and I feel like, my people been hurt and I want to go this direction, you mean I have to watch my back with y'all? I got to watch my back still with y'all? That means you was never a friend in the first place. You should have some kind of understanding why I'm trying to better myself. And hopefully 1 or 2 of you guys could come with me. But no, when he wants to break out of that thoughts, because maybe being the biggest guy, the biggest monster gets the most bruised, and sometimes the biggest monster gets tired too. So when you see somebody trying to better yourself, it's not like it's not like when you go to jail and you trying to dodge, because I'm not gonna call him. It's obvious he's not like a sucker dude. He's a strong guy. He's built strong. He's from Brooklyn, New York, man. If you see him, maybe he look back and he's like, damn, I lost my family, my kid. Maybe let me try to give it a different shot. Don't down him for that, because if you're in the gang and those people say that they're supposed to be family with you, if you make some different decisions, you shouldn't have to be able to watch your back from the people. That's not a friend. That's not a friend. I don't care what gang around the world. That's not a friend. If somebody sees something different, they be like, you know what? I've seen that in you anyway. Go ahead, man. Tell me, even if you ain't gonna go with them, tell me how it is though. And if you learn something, that's let me know what it is. Put me on. That's a real friend. But now I hear people saying, oh no, he left the gang, this and that. Well, yeah, I mean, gangs are getting big time, you guys. It's no more playing around like, a group of guys doing this. Really, what it looks like is they just giving big time, because the more you guys organize, the more you learn how to organize in a criminal way, is the more that they're going to be pulling you down and giving you so many years to separate those thoughts out of your mind. There's so many other things you can be doing. The gang stuff ain't cool. It's not. There was a time it was cool. I ain't gonna lie, it was cool. But the hand signs, everything was cool. Dipset wasn't the type of gang where we can just say they was out there murdering people and this and that. No, it was a different type of light. They made people look at gangs and stare at the individual people and realize that they have more to offer in themselves than just being a gang member. You're talking about guys that rose from the bottom all the way to the top, and they've been up to this day still making money off of something that's not illegal. That should be more commended than them being a part of a gang all this time. That's not what it's from. The gang is the experience, the way you grew up, the people you grew up around. But how you treat yourself and treat other people is really what more counts for you than your spot in the gang. That ain't cool at all. I don't like it. You talking about damn near the man guy, I believe it's like 8 or some more years, and he's trying to come out of there and show his kid something else. Then he's not trying to come out there and show his kid that he's a gang member. No, he's trying to come out and show as a different person. I'm not mad at Cass for that. I'm not. I know it's going to seem rough for everybody else because it's going like, oh, he's leaving the gang, this and that. But to be honest with you, yeah, he is leaving the gang, y'all. Not doing too good. The gang's not doing too good. They're not really looking out for each other anymore. People telling on each other. They're not really being what the gang structures once were. They're not sticking to them type of rules anymore. It's like anybody, hurting anybody and hurting old folks and things like that. You can't live in society with that ticket on you like that and just expect people, and people gonna fear you. And the people that get afraid of the good folks and the citizens that get afraid of these people, it doesn't make it comfortable for them to walk the streets with their family. So what do you think gonna happen? Those people gonna get pushed out. Yeah, the bully might seem like nobody might say nothing in the bully face. Remember that, but behind the scene, everybody talking about the bully like, I can't wait till that day he go or she go, whoever the bully might be in your eyes. So keep mind of that. Keep mind of it. Because in these times you see a lot of that. You're gonna see it in business, people trying to bully people out of their business, this and that. But what they don't remember is the person that you bully out of their business, they got ears in the mouth too. They get on here and tell their truth. And there's always gonna be people that believe in it. You can't block somebody's truth. You can't do that. You can't. Now I'm hearing like they added on more to Jay-Z, like they keep pulling on Jay, like trying to get Jay to do this, Jay to do that. He did this, he did that. Look, man, if you don't have the evidence, then what can I tell you? You gotta beat it, man. Come on, like, and this is not a place where, because it feels like that particular fight has nothing to do with anything else. That's a lawyer fight between that lawyer and him and his lawyer team. And them picking at each other because of this whole situation. It looks like a money grab going wrong. That's what it looks like, a money grab going wrong with the wrong person. That's like I told you, you just can't do that. And that has nothing to do with how much money Jay-Z has. I just want y'all to know that too. I just want y'all to really remember that. It all has to do with who you are. Can't nobody on here tell me, I don't care how much money these people think they have. You can't just paint a picture of somebody and just sit with it, like, and somebody telling you who you are and what you did, and you know it's not true. I mean, speak up for yourself. You don't need a whole bunch of lawyers in this. Speak up for yourself. The same place they tell you it is the same place you meet them at the door. I would never ever let anybody, I don't care if it's entertainment, I don't care how much money, if somebody's doing something outside, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you guys, and you're gonna see me fight it all the way through. I'm not gonna, no. You have to know what to stand up for, and I feel like that man stood up not just for what the man said, is he stood up for his family and everything that came behind that, and it's everything that's yet to come. Because people are painting any picture. You just can't throw things out there and expect people to just grab on it. People do that. So it was the toss up if you guys were gonna believe it or not. Because I see people do that on the daily. They throw something out there, people bite into it, and then the next day it's off to the next thing. Not realizing what they bit into it that day really hurt somebody. Another thing too, it just came to my heart. Lunel, healing energy to Lunel. Oh my goodness, healing energy to Lunel. I believe that she said I don't know if she hugged somebody and she got an allergic reaction. And I just want to let you know, she said it could be so many things with this allergic reaction. She said a little joke that she is allergic to people. But what I could say, me and her, we do share some of the same things. She said something like a cat, like she's allergic to cat hair. I'm allergic to cats. Dogs I'm cool with. Cats I can't. Cats, my eyes will blow up crazy. So that's the same thing that happened to her eye, and it could be the person that she hugged might have had a cat and the cat might have been on their clothes. You never know. So if you have if you have allergies and certain things, I know I do, and I'm allergic to certain things like cats and things, I can see that happening. So everybody just send some healing energy to Lunel. She's the best. Everybody loves her. Good spirit, good person, and I hope that she feels better. I know they're gonna probably give her some medication just to get it all down. But the older we get, things, it just hit different. So I'm just sending healing energy. It just came across, I just remembered that. What else we have going on? How y'all doing though, man? Where y'all tuning in from, man? I need some love. I need some love out here in the NYC. Talking about if I got kids or not. Let me find Mrs. Right and we see how many kids I got. But no, I was never, to be honest with you, I'm happy single, man. I was never really the type, not everybody is out there as, just looking for kids and things like that. That's not really on my bucket list, in other words. You said God made gangs. True, true. God didn't. Yeah. Well, you know that's so deep. God made gangs. God made people. Yeah. They had prophets. You can kind of consider those gangs. They were like group of people together. Yeah. God made gangs, but the gang structure and what the gang does is what's gonna in turn tell you if that's a good gang or a bad gang. The gang part of it is not gang. I feel like is the part where that's people coming together, but it's what they do that gives them the outlook of just because you're in a gang. There's been times where there could have been gangs turn around and help communities, this and that. But when you lose the youth, the new gang members that's growing into the gang, that's where things get kind of crazy, But yeah, God made all of us, to be honest with you. That's a good one. I like that. I really do like that. God made gangs. You can go so far with that because it's true. God made people. It's true. It's true. Now, what we do in the gang that's on us, That's on us. There's a difference with like protecting your environment, your surroundings, the people in your neighborhood, and you ganging it up that way. But when you just banging on somebody, especially your own culture, you banging on them, and you guys don't really even got beef, and y'all willing to risk the time that they're willing to give you for these type of situations, that's when it's like, nah, you can't do it like that. Nah. When it's just like, not now, not now, not now, not now, not right now. You can use that energy and turn it around into something more useful, and we can get way further. Like I heard something in LA. I didn't understand. Anybody that's tuning in from LA, you guys got to let me know the politics. But why they keep messing up Kendrick Lamar's mural out there? Like why they keep like defacing it? Now I know maybe he put it in a different part, but I'm pretty sure did he put it in where he's from? They keep messing up Kendrick Lamar's and that type of energy, like that's what I'm talking about. Like I don't care what gang he's part of. As a representative of West Coast hip hop culture, he stands tall. So they can't see it past what he began, and they can only see it for where he's at. And where he's at, they don't like that as far as the hip hop culture. But I don't get it. What's that about? Why they keep doing that to him? You ain't lying. God bless you. Wow. Said if the whole community joined the gang, the structure would change. The old would have a voice to the young. It makes a lot of sense. You got a point there though. Because the older gangs back in the day, they knew the whole community. Like everybody in the community knew them. Like I told you the other day, like the good old days when I came up, everybody's mom was everybody's mom. So we don't have that now. It's more like, I feel like I grew into like more of like the nosy neighbors. Like neighbors don't really like, we do still chop it up, but like neighbors weren't so close as they were when I was kids. I don't know what that's about. But I feel like from where my area is, we have a lot of Bloods, we have a lot of Crips. I don't know about any other gangs in this particular area, but a lot of Crips and Bloods in this area. But it's all people that we grew up with. Out here in New York, it's mostly about the people. Like I know a lot of people, and you never know what crew they're in. Like, you're a Mac. Oh, okay, cool. I know a lot of people in different structures and different parts, but it's something that's different about us in New York. We have like I don't want to it's not a disrespect to any other gangs, but dudes in New York have like a smarter sense of going about the gang lifestyle in a way, but then we also break code from the people that started it, And it's because I feel like New York was the first one to be like, oh, we hang out with Crips, we hang out with Bloods, hang with Crips, because they probably went to school together. Whereas in LA, it would probably way back in the day would have been like, no, you can't at all. That's just the rules, like at all. But we never really had that divide like that. Sometimes you will get a divide if it's like, if you're dealing with like block to block or maybe, but I never, as a youth, man, I used to, you know, like when you see Paid in Full in Harlem and things like that, like as a youth, I used to always drive the whip, me and my brother. We would drive through Harlem all day, all night, Grand's Tune, park the car, walk the block back and forth, brand new clothes every time. We was into all of that. I never really came across the side of the streets where it was like unwelcoming in New York. Now, for other places, I can't tell you because it's always like, for every borough, if you don't have like somebody that's of status or somebody that knows somebody in each borough, then the way you move around New York, it'll be a little bit awkward. But if you have a big family, like you're big rooted in New York, you kind of get around a little different. And that's just how we moved, you know, as youngins. Like we would go any borough. I mean, every borough I met, probably a rapper from every borough, a big rapper from probably every borough. I even met Styles P in Brooklyn. I think it was like a book signing, and my brother had taped him and whatnot. It's a melting pot when we gotta learn how to come together with our differences in these times. Because I know everybody got differences. We gotta learn how to come together. But whether it's a gang, to be honest with you, bro, I would take the whole gang talk out of the conversation in these times, just because of the fact of the RICO. RICO done made that word gang a little different. Even gangster sounds better than gang in these times. Even if you say, yo, I'm a gangster, it don't sound, but if you say I'm in a gang, that sounds crazy. As you say I'm in a gang, it sounds like 30, 20 years out here. Out here is different, y'all. You can say you a gangster and that sound a little bit better than you saying, yo, I'm in a gang. You saying you in a gang, it reeks ignorance. And if you from somebody that you know better than that, and it don't matter, don't let nobody fool you in New York. You could come from the projects in any parts of New York. That don't mean you don't know better. People smart out here, yo. You don't realize back in the day what ages they started hustling at? You think that takes a dumb person to do that? No. They didn't realize where they was putting their smarts into. But no, it takes a smart young man to go out there on a late night or spend all day out there trying to do something and bring it back home for your family to eat. That ain't easy either, but it's just that we have to do a lot of restructuring. When they look at gangs and they say gang, and they put you in this power where you don't want to be. Let's just go back to calling it crew, posse, or something else besides a gang, man. Because gang, it just changed the conversation, and it automatically turns criminal. There's like nothing you can say, even if you are a gang, it's nothing you can say, well, my gang brought this. It just sounds criminal in these times. And it's just the way things develop to be at this point. You know, say something else instead of gang, man. But I understand because I have friends that's part of gangs and things like that. But at the end of the day, that's not how I became a friend of that person, in other words. So we don't have a gang conversation. We just have a friendship conversation. So it's never that. So just try to it ain't the gang stuff. It sounds like it could be cool, but it just the cool point's running out on the gang, man. It's running out, man. Time running out, man. I think the technology done caught up with him, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's almost like even the conversation of snitching, it almost irritates me for people to still believe that somebody will believe in you that much to do something like that for you. Like, you really think that the person that you hardly even know, like the human part of it, it kicks in. If you could put that type of trust in so many people, it's a risk. It's a risk. Trust is not something to play with. If you could put that trust in so many people doing criminal activity, you are not playing your cards right. You're not playing your cards right. I can understand if you are a wise gangster and you're structured in a way where you pull one gang member out where you feel a certain way that's a loyal one, and then you carve that person out, but just trusting in everybody that claims the same name of your gang and thinking that no way in hell that they're gonna point you out or say anything that will be negative or something that could get them out of. I don't believe how you could believe that. I don't know why you think that is possible. I know you're gonna fight for it and you want people to believe that, don't snitch, but I know deep in your heart, you know better. Then you know what they're gonna do in these times. You know that, right? So nah. I won't believe in it at all. Not at all. And even if I was in the gang, I would make my word be known. Like in the gang, like, you know, we got to change this, restructure this, or I have to do something else because I don't want to get implemented in any of this stuff. And this is not a way. You got to open your mouth, man. Don't just sit there because you got somebody that's telling you what to do all the time. Look, these people don't want the benefits of you. If they did want the benefits of you, you guys won't feel the same way you do. Like, you would never feel in your heart to tell on somebody that did right for you. If you do that, you're just an evil person. If somebody did good for you and held you down, of course you want to do that time. You're like, I'm not saying nothing to anybody. That person is my good friend. Why would I do that? But if you don't feel that type of friendship, that's where the disconnect comes. You expect somebody that don't love you, don't even hardly know you or like you. He like your chick, and you expect him to stand there and stand tall and take the time for you. Well, you out of your mind, man. You toss that. That's playing with it too much. That ain't smart street work. That's low tier stuff, man. Trust me, man. That ain't no good, man. No, don't let nobody fool you with that. Nah. That's weasel work. You don't ever want to do something like that. And I ain't telling nobody to do crime, but if you're going to do crime, you got to map it out better than that, and you got to be more smarter than that. The streets ain't getting, the streets getting smarter and smarter. It seems like the criminals getting dumber and dumber. It's a damn shame, but that ain't gonna work in these times. Them old school ways of structuring your gang and throwing up the signs and doing all of that stuff on camera. By the time you throw up the signs, they done read the whole thing like a book. They know all the signs, y'all. They found the little papers you guys write, all the meanings, and all, they got all that stuff. As a matter of fact, they probably got their own book of that stuff. So they study y'all already. That if you're using the same techniques and all the same stuff, you're gonna get caught. They ain't even worth it. I ain't mad at what Cass did. I don't care how many gang members that get mad at them, but it's all about bettering your life. And trust me, a lot of gang members gonna think about it like, I don't trust that person anyway. Before we commit this crime, I'm not doing this around them. You gotta think. Some of these guys, you put the pistol in their hand, they can't shoot it. They couldn't even hit a target. You took them for target practice. You see, like, God damn, you was gonna hit so many civilians. You ain't even hit the target. Some gang member. First, you gotta go to the Boy Scouts or one of these places and get your aim up, because you're hurting innocent people. I see a lot more innocent people being hurt behind all of these stupid situations. If you can structure yourself like maybe like the Black Panthers and things like that, well, it won't matter what other people label you. They can label you a gang, but guarantee when you go out there, you ain't doing no criminal activity. You just in defense protecting of the things that you want to protect, your people, your culture, the people around you. You want to police. That's different. But I can't give that responsibility to those guys who think like that. No way. No way. I'm not going to leave it in their hands. No way. No way. Now, there's some smart dudes that come around every here and there, and they touch these different gangs and leave people with things, but it's hard to find. Only some people get to learn from those types of OGs. Not everybody. Not everybody. See, the trick in it is to get some motion and keep on going. If you ain't got no motion and you still trying to find yourself some motion, you're going to always be tripping up. You got to get the motion and keep that motion going, man. That's what it's about. See, the hustle continues once you find out the true hustle that's set for you. But if you keep going out there making the same mistakes, trying to get a hit or miss, that's how your pocket's going to look, hit or miss. Your life is going to look hit or miss. And a lot of times it's going to be a miss. So you just calculate yourself a little better and stop letting people put these labels on you, gang. You got to come up with a new word, man. It's 2024 going into 2025. You mean to tell me we can't come up with different groups? They came up with Boy Scouts already, right? The Black Panthers, gangs, you can't break that up into something that sounds a little more positive and move with a crew of people that's going to change something? You could do better than that, man. Don't join something that's going to put you in time in jail. It makes no sense these times. That's why half of these situations I don't feel bad for. I just be like, look the youth, get them there. It's like a movie. That's the lessons. Because they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to tell you they had a good time in jail. They ain't going to tell you about how the food and this, it had this in it. Nah, they're not going to tell you about that. How they had to use the bathroom in front of their guys and there was no chicks there. There ain't no chicks there. You hear everybody come out with these stories. Oh, now they was, the CEO, in there, I was sleeping with her. How many guys get that chance to sleep with that chick? How many guys she's sleeping with? You don't want that. Are you serious? No, look, man. If you into other things in life, jail ain't the place to pick it up, man. Jail is a place to sit you down. It's like the strongest form of the worst meditation. You can do that on your own. Life has way more to offer than what people just throw in your face. Simple as that. Life is like one big plant, just the seed, and it grows, it grows, it grows, it grows, it grows, it spreads its leaves, everything, it branches out. It's not just one tree in the whole world. No, come on now. And we all have to understand as human beings, this is not just our world. Come on. We don't know what's next to come. This whole thing with Tory Lanez, what do y'all feel about this? This Tory, I mean, the man is behind bars and they still giving him a little two, three kicks behind the cell. You can't do that. Number one, I think that Tory Lanez is some kind of killer or murderer type? No, I don't. I feel like these are type of mistakes that I feel like this same mistakes happens in places where the gun laws are very laxy-daisy. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that misuse a gun to the pin go up, bing, it blow. But I told you, I seen some in my college, somebody shot themselves with a Desert Eagle. These are true stories. So I'm pretty sure this type of mishaps could have happened if that's what it was, not if a man just point the thing down at you. Hey, I wasn't there, I couldn't tell it. But just know the man is doing the time for the thing that you said he's doing. So why you keep going back with him? You think that him not saying anything is gonna make your longevity in the industry? That's not how it works, baby girl. Your longevity in the industry, it depends on the people who you're entertaining, not Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is a talented dude. This guy's talent, man. He can sing, rap, he can do about everything. The people that they're not paying attention, these are the people that could have probably added on to the game. It's all the nonsense that comes around it that stops people from their real dreams. I feel like Tory Lanez could have been a bigger artist than he ever was. And I mean, the guy was pulling in his songs, they're beautiful songs. Come on now, let's stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing. Then you got these guys jump on here, they spitting up their mumbo jumbo on fast-paced beats, and you don't understand one thing and you bopping your head, and the man just said you was the devil, your mom's was the devil, and it was all in the song, and he said he worshiped the devil, and you didn't even know it because you still bopping. You still bopping up and down, like wake up. The man just said he don't respect you, he don't do this, he don't do that, he won't do that, and you dating him and he break up with you and you surprised. He just said it in his whole album. So it's like you got to be aware of the things that people, they sometimes before they say it, it's told already in front of them. All you got to do is pay attention to see what you're investing in. It's just like if you're investing in a company, you're not just going to jump because of their name. You want to make sure certain things are intact within that company that aligns with the things that you believe in. And if something's off, you don't invest it. Go somewhere else. It don't matter about just the investment. It's you too. You're the investment. Invest in your time, your energy. Come on now. We got to know better and do better for the things that's going on, man. It's a lot going on, but the way I see it, it's a lot of this stuff is surrounded by greed. Instead of one, you want two. Instead of two, you want four. You get a good taste, you come back. We got Christmas coming. I hope you guys enjoy it with your families. I know I will, because I might not be in the biggest of holiday spirit, but I am so happy and grateful that I made it to a point where I have this type of understanding, and it makes me see things for what it is. So I'm very appreciative that God did give me the glasses. I do like the glasses. Sometimes I don't want to see what's coming out, what I'm looking at through the lens, because sometimes it looks like the people that I thought was one way, they become, I realize the way they really are. But at the end of the day, it's us. We make us who we are. How we respect each other is how people going to in turn respect us, because what we put out there is how people going to look at us. If I'm always pointing the finger at somebody every single day, you did it, how's that make me look? It look like, so what you do wrong? People want to find that in you now. So you always got to, it's just the balance of life. I hope everybody enjoy their holidays, their Christmas. Israelites, Brother God's Gang. Still bless up, still bless up, still bless up, because everybody fighting a different fight. So still bless up, even to your most high, everybody most high. Just got to believe in something. Don't be one of them people say, I don't believe in nothing. I don't be one of them people when you see them. You know, I used to hear people say about, you know, the people, the people they bomb and they jump into planes and they like believe they get virgins, and in America they laugh, ha ha ha. But don't you laugh at those people because they believe they're gonna get something that's different than not on this earth. Don't you ever laugh at those people. You know why? Because they have faith and strength in something else besides themselves. So those people believing in them, may God bless their souls, because whether they're wrong or right or whatever they did, they had something, a bigger power. Somebody might have misled them to thinking that if they do that to somebody else. So you never know where the pain stems from. It might not stem from the people that's blowing their lives away and attaching the bomb to themselves. It might extend from the guy that told them what's going to happen after, in this whole mumbo jumbo story they kick. So you always got to be mindful of that. Sometimes the person you see that's committing it ain't where it started from, all right? Love y'all, and I really appreciate y'all paying attention and just you tuning in, because y'all ain't really have to be here. And share this with somebody, because that's how YouTube want it now, you know? You got to like it up, you got to share it up, so the good vibes get around, because the negative energy travel faster than anything we ever seen. So try to get it out there and bless your boy, and then maybe I'll jump in, man. I wish all of y'all a Merry Christmas. It don't mean you have to believe in Santa or none of that, but just being that the holidays are coming around, this is a time where we feel like everybody's energy, the majority, is going to be close to the same, and that's high energy. So love y'all, appreciate y'all, and thanks for tuning in, man. You know I'm always going to be here for you. I'm not sure if I'll be back. This might be it until Christmas. To all my peeps out there that have been tuning in, you know, it's a small channel. We trying to grow together, try to build community, and it don't matter what other people take. We always gonna be here to give y'all the real. So I love you. It's your boy Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Enjoy your holidays, y'all.